It got all sorts of jostled.
Jostled?
Jostled and jammed.
Jostling? You had a jostling?
Jambled.
A jostle jamble?
Yes. Oh, I feel like it's been forever.
It's been a cup of coffee. It's been a cup of coffee.
It's been a cup of coffee.
We're going to do this today, though.
Certainly been a cup of coffee.
We're definitely going to do it today. It's going to happen.
Gonna do it. Gonna do it.
This is what happens when they're like in between content. Just flows down to just we've done this too long. So it's just us saying random words over and over again.
Yeah, basically.
Happy 200 episode.
Happy 200. This is it. This is all it is. Can't be fucked to come up with some new funny shit.
We episode 200. We're out of material.
Out of material.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. You, dear listener, for the 200th time have decided to listen to another horrible gaming podcast. I am not alone. Usually I am never alone. With me is...
Bold assumption of you, thinking that someone has listened to all 200 episodes.
That was for Will.
I'm sure
that was for Will.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's listened to like 150, 175, but the whole kit and caboodle, that's...
Will has bragged that he went back and listened to all of them from start to finish. So,
hey,
Mr. Owen, we honor you today.
I salute you.
And anybody else who's listened to all of them.
It's a hero to us all.
Yeah, you're a hero, because some of them have been awful. Like, some of them...
I
had a hard
remember
time
some
listening to.
that we very much were just like, we just have to do, like, something, I don't fucking... Or the ones that were the re-records after the first recording failed, and we immediately have to do an entire another podcast back to back. The when the fuck text comes through.
Yes, memories of the way we were. All right, well. We're going to do a show. We're going to do the 200th show, and you're probably wondering what special thing we have planned for you. Not really anything. It's just kind of a normal show. We do have a little special activity we're going to do for our talking point, which I think we're going to have fun with. So that being said, other than that, we'll do something big for 500 if we're not dead by then. At
the rate we're going, that's going to be, what, about 5 years from now?
50, well, it's 52, well, I'd say we roughly churn out about 50 to 52 episodes a year.
Yeah.
So, for 500, you'd need to get another...
So, okay, yeah.
It's going to be a while. So, as depressing as that possibility is, you guys, we got to thank the people who have made these 200 episodes possible. First, we've got to thank the behind our ugly mugs. You're seeing a custom graphic that is provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that and all the custom graphics he has supplied to this channel over the years. And then, of course, the man who makes the music made this theme song and all of the music here. For OMG, and that is my brother Nick Van Sliders. And then I have a special thanks to Neil Simpson, because he was not the first podcast host. Podcast host was Logan. Logan, God bless you out there. You ditched me. That's fair. You had things going on. But Neil stepped right up, stepped in, especially after the insult of basically this was me and Neil's idea first, and then I just did it with somebody else. And Neil could not ask for, well, sometimes I can ask for a slightly better podcast.
Sometimes. No, there's definitely room for growth. You're not insulting me.
Here's the thing. If you were, like, you put up with so much bullshit, even just that, while I'm trying to specially thank you, I appreciate it for the amount of time that we have continued to turn this out. I have never done 200 episodes of anything in my whole fucking life. And This is it. Could not have done without you. I think you're at like 250, but like, or 150, but like still,
something like that.
It's very important people know how important Neil is to this process. So thank you, sir.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And honestly, while we're thanking people, I mean, I guess I would also have to thank you for first having me do this with you. But also, more importantly, the back-breaking, mind-splitting amount of work that actually goes into all of this. The wrangling of human beings, the coming up with ideas of things, and of course, not to mention all of the audio/video editing that needs to be done on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, sometimes even on a daily basis, depending on what's happening.
I thank you for that. However, my counter to that would be I got myself into this, whereas I definitely got you into it. So, like, I have to thank you, whereas I only have myself to blame. But we're gonna be right back with everybody's favorite fan interaction in just a moment.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hi everybody. So, like I say in the actual podcast that I'm gonna edit this in at some point, but one of the comments was directly to you, Stella. Did you know that? Since you were on the last episode, so I took some time with Stella to record your response to this. So this is what they said. This is William Hohen. Remember this guy? You liked his picture?
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Cat in the Hat. Go watch that video.
Go watch our podcast. I'm gonna read his parts of the comment that were directly towards you.
Yep.
Okay. Hi! Exclamation point. He says, best opening song ever. Good job, Stella.
Oh, thank you.
And then he also says, his profile picture is actually a custom-made drawing of his Villagers and Heroes character made by his friend Katsuya. So this picture that you said kind of looked like the Cat in the Hat is actually his character from a game he plays that he had somebody draw for him.
Yeah, sorry I said that.
No, you don't have to be sorry. He was just letting you know. It's pretty cool, though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also says...
It was just because of the hat. It kind of looked like the Cat in the Hat, and that's why. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't think he's upset. I think he was just letting you know what it was for real. And that it was his character, and he had a friend of his actually draw that for him, which is pretty cool. And then he finally says, good job on the podcast, Stella.
Oh, thank you.
All right, well, that's it. That's what they said to you. So, bye.
Bye.
Brings us to our first segment, our most important segment. That is fan interaction. That's where we, the co-hosts, we talk to you guys, the fans. We read out your comments, and we let your voices be heard. So it started off, William Hohen, hi, exclamation point, gotta love it. Best opening song ever, good job, Stella. I will definitely read this to her. And as I read all of this, I want you to know, Will, I'm going to read all of this to her, and I'm going to try and record a response from her and edit it into this podcast at some point. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do that. Might not be on this episode, might be on the next episode. Just saying. Zach's sick again. We should make a drinking game out of it. Every time he's sick, we take a sip. Sure. When I die, just drink the whole bottle.
It's funny about that. Whenever you had mentioned that you were going to have to cancel, I'm like, oh no, what's going on? And your response was, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I was like, I just immediately, I knew what it is. I knew what it was. And I just walked into the kitchen and Kayla was in there and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, Zach is fucking sick again.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm waiting for my friends to get together and have an intervention for hypochondria. Because they all think I'm faking it. Like, that's what I feel like. The only thing that saves me is you guys can hear my voice. And thankfully, every one of my sicknesses just goes right into my fucking throat. So at least there's proof in the pudding. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We got a bunch of copies of Diablo 4 at the library last week. Didn't even bother playing it for free. Good. My profile picture is actually a custom-made drawing of my Villagers and Heroes character from my friend Katsuya. Call out to Katsuya. It's a fine picture. Good job on the podcast, Stella. Cheers. Hashtag sick, broken arm, puke, sick. Yeah, I think he's keeping track of all the sickness. Yeah, so Diablo 4, good job. Don't play it. It's terrible. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want to go into this. It has hurt my faith in humanity how many people are playing that game. Like, hurt my faith in humanity. And not just because Blizzard Activision is an evil-ass company, but all the shit around it that just keeps, like, they keep nerfing characters badly, they keep doing terrible shit about the game, like, in the game, like, the quality of game. Like, it blows my mind that many people want to play that game.
I mean, I won't be playing it strictly because before COVID kicked off, Kayla and I were looking for a game to play together. We hadn't had one in a while. So we had, just talked about it and was like, Diablo, everybody likes Diablo. We picked up Diablo 3 and I don't know if I was just playing it wrong or I just didn't understand something about it. I don't know. We had it cranked up to the highest difficulty, and it was just us standing in one spot holding buttons down, like not actively doing anything. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because it was kind of early levels. I mean, we only played about 4 hours total before we were like, yeah, maybe not. So yeah, definitely not playing 4 from what I played of 3.
Yeah, no. Then Jason, Game Pass Core, which is what Xbox Live Gold is turning into, has games on it like other Game Pass tiers, and they'll be adding to the collection a few times a year. Games on Game Pass Core will include games like Grounded and State of Decay 2. Okay, cool. Again, I'm conflicted with Game Pass and Gold and its desertion in my way.
I don't know. I don't know if it's...
I mean, I don't think this changes any of my feelings about it, Jason.
So what really kills me about that is I feel like I have not heard enough about the fact that, A, you were getting games that you could just download and keep.
Right.
That's not like a thing anymore.
Gone. Yeah.
And also the fact that those games that you did claim, you had to have them ahead of time before the service went dark.
Right.
If you did not, there's no going back in and saying, oh, well, let me re-download this that I had before. Like, you're going to have to pay again.
Yeah.
Which shenanigans and bullshit like this is just another reason why I'm holding on to physical as long as I possibly can with my games.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you don't own a game. But the thing is even with the physical, I mean, all they have to do is patch something and make you pay for it, and then you can't
That's
play
true.
it. I think that, like, the problem that I have with Game Pass is, well, with games for gold, or gold, Xbox Live Gold, was that originally it was a bullshit service. It was a bullshit service originally. It added the games later, and then they had some banger titles on that. But let's face it, for the last 2 years, they haven't had any good titles on
trash.
It because they never repeated. They never this is coming back into games for gold. You know what I mean? They never repeated any game. They just ran out of good games. But originally it was a shitty service. It was a shitty service that they made you pay for. Like they were basically gatekeeping internet. Like that's what Xbox Live Gold was in the beginning. That being said, it's another one of those things where I don't feel like Game Pass Core represents a positive enough service. Like, you're not getting anything special for that. You're still kind of losing something, in my opinion. You're still losing the ability to keep those games, the ability to have free games. Plus, you're even losing the ability to re-download those games later, which is kind of bullshit.
I would have loved to see what those final numbers were for like the last year of the service on who was actually downloading free games.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't. I don't like the fact that, like, thankfully I've made the switch to PC, so like I never really benefited from games with gold when I was on PC. Mm-hmm. All of the games with gold stuff I downloaded on my Xbox, but just to do the hard drive swap, because I didn't have a huge hard drive on my console on one. I had a first gen one. I always did. I never upgraded. I ended up switching to PC instead of upgrading, and so if I was still on console, there's a lot of games that I loved that I did get through games with gold that I wouldn't be able to get back because of the fact that I don't have enough hard drive space, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like that thing you paid for, they demanded a refund on. And that's what really irritates me. It's like it's like they're erasing what you paid for in the first place.
Yeah.
Moving on, Jason then also says, also a lot of Something Tycoon. Oh, this is out of order. I don't know why this is... Oh, I forgot to put newest first. My bad. There we go. Nope, still didn't switch it. Okay, there we go. All right, a lot of Roblox games are Something Simulator. Then he added to that, also a lot of Something Tycoon, which all play the same. Start with a dispenser that spits something on a conveyor belt that sends it to a pit. You get money, which you can spend to build up the factory, buy more dispensers, faster belts, blah, 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 and weapons you can use to go attack other people on the map. My nephew is really into these. Yeah, she does. She does these, and they've got the simulator name after them. But she does them. She's really into character creation. It's very hard to connect with her on the gaming because she almost doesn't like to play the game. She likes to make characters in the game almost. And the games that she really gets into aren't really fighting games or killing games or even building games. It's games where she could just have pets and characters and then just enjoy their presence. It's very weird. I will say Fairy Simulator was one that I actually thought was kind of cool that she got into. We talked about that last week on the show. She's really into this one that was called Adopt Me. Today she was playing that all day, which is just about adopting a pet and then having a virtual pet, basically. So she's very strange in that regard. And then Jason finishes off with, you don't know what creepypasta is. Slenderman, Candle Cove, Momo, Ben Drowned, Jeff the Killer, The Rake, Squidward Suicide. I know what Slenderman is.
Creepypastas are weird. There's a whole bunch of different ones. I'm remembering it very wrong, I feel like, but there was this whole thing called, it was something like Area 43 or something like that. Sorry, cat typing on the keyboard apparently. But it was one of the things there was this creature that would only follow you if you didn't look at it. So you walk away from it and it would just slowly slowly follow you when you turned around or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff like that. It's just some random shit that the internet made up and everybody was like, ooh, that'd be fucking creepy.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, creepypastas are definitely weird. And speaking of things that are definitely weird, Roblox, when we were down and we had gone to Kentucky this past weekend, when we were down there, our one little cousin was playing a game on his phone that was in Roblox. And it was some weird, you're a ninja and you're taking out sentient toilets with heads sticking out of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the absolute fuck is happening? Like,
I've played some weird ones on them with
Yeah.
her, like that she's dragged me into, and it's just like I don't even understand. Like they're very. This is like the TikTok of gaming. I don't know what's going
exactly.
on or why people are acting like NPCs. Or everybody's eating, or everybody's not eating, or everybody's drinking weird water. I don't understand this. It's just too much for my old brain to comprehend. Like every time I play it with her, like we'll get into a game and I'll be like, all right, what's the point? And she's like, there's no point. You just run around this place
and just do
like,
the thing.
Like I don't understand. Like I gotta go kill a bad guy. Do I gotta level up? Do I gotta like even friendship? Do I have to collect friendship? No, there's no point whatsoever, ever. It's just there's a world. And then you exist in it, and that's it. That's it. Just have fun with it. And I don't know how to do that. Like I'm just too old to get into it.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Well, that's fan traction. So what are we doing for our 200th episode? So we decided to play a fun little game, and I don't have a name for it. But we couldn't go through all of these because there's 200 episodes. But I thought it would be fun because we were going back and forth. You guys even heard us go back and forth a couple of times of what we were going to do for this. We really kind of ran out of time, and we're both very lazy people. So, like, at the end of the day, what we decided to do was for every 10 episodes, I'm going to go into the 10 episodes, I'm going to pick a random comment, I'm going to read it, and we're going to talk about it again. So, episode 10, episode 20, episode 30, whatever, comment, we're going to try and figure out what the fuck we were even talking about, especially since some of these Neil won't even know about. Because
That's true.
Logan did like the first 20 or 30 episodes with me. So we're going to try and figure out what we're going to talk about. We're going to maybe share new stuff about it then. As far as news goes, the only person who has news stories is me. I have 3.
I've lied.
You've lied!
I've lied.
Yeah.
So I realized that I started collecting news stories before everything, before we canceled last time. So I mean, they're 2 weeks old. Some of them are kind of interesting. I don't know.
Oh, shit. There's more fan traction. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Oh, God!
I know. I almost screwed us over. It's in a different place.
Fan traction has appeared.
Yeah, you guys are probably going to lose Neil's face for a second. Just bear with me, because I wanted to make sure that I read this right. Okay, so there's a big story, and Jason, this comes from Jason, he put it in the lounge on Discord, that Xbox users are calling the new home screen UI one big ad. They're really upset with the new Xbox UI, and he even pointed out this comment. My main issue is that I have 9 groups I used to have on my home screen, but it's limited to 2 now, while all this useless junk is there now, like ads and stuff like that. So the new UI is getting a ton of bullshit.
I've not turned the Xbox on myself in quite some time.
Neil again now.
So I'm going to have to see. The last time I turned on the Xbox was I bought Street Fighter 6 and installed it. Still to this day haven't played it. But yeah, this is exactly why I didn't want to buy it in the first place, because I knew I wouldn't play it. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, it was not live at this point. I knew it was coming. I've not seen it, though. I am thoroughly unsurprised that it is just a giant advert.
Well, and this is the thing, man. Just remember, these are the people who are buying Activision Blizzard. And these are the people who are buying all the companies, you know? All right, you know what? My other fans reaction, I'm going to save for news. Because it's a little bit more newsy. So we'll talk about that in news. And we will just go to the talking point.
Alrighty.
All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to a talking point. 200 episodes, Neil. 200 episodes.
200 easy.
2 zeros. Yes, 2 centuries worth. Well, if each
2
episode
centuries
was a year.
worth.
Yeah. It's
I'm sure it feels like that for anyone who listens to any episode.
Yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, we're gonna go through. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the tens places. I'm skipping one because our first episode did not get any comments. It Did get 3 likes, so it was watched, but it did not get any comments. But we're going to go from 10 on, and then every 10, we're going to just pick, I'm going to pick a random comment, I'm going to read it out, and me and Neil are going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do.
All right.
So let's do it. Let's go, episode 10. This is from A Horrible Gaming Podcast, episode 10, Endgame. Endgame. And should I read the description of it, or just go into the comment?
No, just read the comment. I think it's a lot better if you just read the comment.
Let's see what we got. Oh, I know what I'm going to pick. Let's see. Zelen666. Sound
Jesus.
familiar?
Yeah.
Definitely a single-player, narrative-focused player. Okay. While I do enjoy the breadth of content available in huge open-world games. Oh, I see. You are. More often than not, I'm too busy for the time required for these time sinks. Games like Breath of the Wild and Skyrim are some of my favorites, which is very, just like right in that. It's hypocritical.
I know.
For me, you were destined to be a podcast host.
Yes,
for me,
definitely.
In most cases, I prefer my games to have some sort of finishing point. That way I can enjoy everything they have to offer and not feel like I wasted money by playing something else, by leaving large portions of a huge game untouched. Mm-hmm. What the fuck were we talking? I think it was Borderlands. I'm gonna say it was probably Borderlands.
I think it was talking something about like your favorite genre or like
just because the episode is called Endgame, I feel like there's something to that. But
oh yeah, probably yeah.
I mean, that's
there's
clue
definitely something there. Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah. I definitely. It's got to be something along the line.
I do think that I do find it interesting that you are as stubborn and hypocritical today as you were back then.
Some things never change.
In the same sense, where you say you want a single-player, narrative-focused game, in the same sense that you say you don't have enough time to deal with huge open world games, then you say Skyrim and Breath of the Wild are your favorite games.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that was more so of like there are exceptions to the rule.
Fair.
Yeah. But I mean, even now, even when I was just talking a minute ago, like Tears of the Kingdom, even I haven't had time. I haven't had time, and it's like. There's that, and then of course I was still an idiot, even though I said I was not going to buy Street Fighter 6 until I finished Tears of the Kingdom. Right. What did I go and do? And I knew exactly what was going to happen. What is happening now?
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. I'm always cycling through the Steam store, even when I'm happy with the game that I'm playing and have no intention of playing something else. I'll still be like, 50% off? Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
fucking stupid.
That's the thing, is like I have shit in my Steam store.
Yeah.
I just preload, like, okay, the second it goes on sale, I'm gonna buy it. Like,
I have fucking Wingspan in my library. Not to interrupt you, I have a card game about birds in my library, downloaded on my computer. I have never opened it.
That sounds wonderful.
I know. Sorry, continue what you were saying. I totally interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I have stuff loaded up and ready to go. Games that I already own in other places.
Oh yeah.
And multiple times in some cases. Like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have regular Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And of course, I have it ready to go. And the second that I catch it in time, because there have been a couple times where it's gone on sale and I just didn't pull the trigger to grab it. Like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm never gonna touch it. I bought freaking Sonic Adventure 2 when it was on sale, and I tried to run it at 60 frames a second. Fun fact,
shit.
Never try to do that. Never try to do that. I can't remember if I mentioned that to you or not, but that was a god-awful nightmare. It was nearly unplayable.
I have bought in Skyrim 3 times. 3 times. And I'm not going to lie. I've bought Monster Hunter World twice. And once at least once a month, sometimes once a week, I scroll through the store, find it for $15, and almost purchase it again. So that is the truth. I will say, on the subject of like narrative driven like focus games versus end game, I am playing a game right now that does both, and there are some games out there that do both. I mean, Borderlands Wonderlands, well, you know, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yeah.
So I don't think they did the end game well. I think there's plenty of listeners out there that will agree with me on that. Like, if you're a longtime Borderlands fan, that game made you very mad. But the story, the narrative was good, and then you don't have to go any further than that if you didn't want to. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the problems with that game is that the end game was so bad, it tainted a relatively decent story, like one of their better narratives, in my opinion. But
yeah.
Remnant 2... You can play Remnant 2 forever. You can play it once and be done with it, and you're gonna get everything you need out of that game, no matter how you decide to play it. So I think it is possible to have a good end game and a narrative, you know, without sacrificing. You know.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our first. If you've got nothing else to add, we'll go to 20.
No. Yeah.
All right. I gotta find 20 now. This is the problem. You guys are gonna have to listen while I stumble through. Trying to find it. So go back to 2. There it is. Okay. Oh my God! This will be an interesting one to see the comments on. This is a Horrible Gaming Podcast, episode 20, The Horrible Game Awards. Our 20th episode was our first Horrible Game Award show. I didn't number any other one, so that's kind of weird that one of the Horrible Game Awards made it into the number. I thought I had done this every time, but every Horrible Game Awards is its like own show, and then the podcast itself doesn't have a numbered episode that week. Like it's uploaded in, but it'll just be the Horrible Game Awards 2nd annual or 3rd annual or whatever. But this one was actually
the
20th episode. This is the 20th episode.
I was gonna say, does that technically numerically mean that this is the 198th episode? Have we ruined everything?
Well, it would be the 199th episode, but no, I hope not.
We've done 3 awards, right? This was the first one. That makes 2.
No. I didn't do it with any other award show. You're not following what I'm saying. Only one episode would be numbered. Only one of the award shows is numbered. Like, this episode is numbered. None of the other award shows are a numbered episode of the podcast.
Then it's 90. So this is 199th episode.
No, it's not, because the first episode was part of our podcast. It just is. It's just the way it is. Forever. Eternally. So going into the comments of that. Why? It says there's 6, but there's only 2 on here.
I wonder if that's because I know you'd mentioned that there was like hella spam coming through at one point.
Yeah, we did have hella spam, but usually when you delete it, it doesn't register it as there anymore.
Oh.
So I feel like there should be comments that I can read. So let's try doing newest first. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and do the late great man, the Kev Tutal.
Yes.
First quote from Kev Tutal, and he commented on all of them, so you'll probably hear more than once. The presenters in this ceremony are a ragtag bunch of dorks, dweebs, nerds, and geeks. Could we get a real professional in here? Laugh out loud. No, Kev, rest in peace. We could not get a real professional.
Nothing has changed.
There's actually 2 replies on this. The first one is me saying, no, we cannot. And then the next one is Thor, who I believe was a presenter on our first show. Bunch of dorks, dweebs, nerds, and geeks, a.k.a. the professionals of this arena.
Yes.
All right, nothing else need to be said about that. So that's 20. Let's hit 30. All right, number 30 is... All right, so this episode is called Teraflops and Twitter Oops. This is going to be fun.
I think...
And we're still in the Neil times. Although this one is one that you were on, because it's a guest starring. I can see that there's a guest starring in the picture. Oh, we got both comments are from Phil Billy, so let's do it. We'll read this one because the other one's a horrible arena vote, and that's no good. I have to throw my 2 cents in with the ninja thing. So I agree that you have to be competitive and passionate and try to learn from... Wow, this is a big one. Try to learn from your mistakes and losses if you are a professional in gaming. And this applies to anything you are a professional at. However, the problem is Ninja generalized his comments, implying that if everyone loses and doesn't become angry, they are a weak person. But look at it this way. I'm not a professional at basketball. Heck, I'm not even good. So if I go play a game at the park with friends and I lose, I'm not going to be mad because I had a good time and that's why I went in the first place. That being said, my huge problem with Ninja and a lot of other streamers, and I think this hurts the public's opinion on gaming, is when some of these streamers lose, they break keyboards and throw tantrums, breaking desks, and this behavior actually angers me because of how pathetic and unprofessional this behavior is. It would be the equivalent of LeBron James losing a game, laying down in the middle of the court, and kicking and screaming. Wow! Great comment from this was 3 years ago, by the way. 3 years ago. And his screen name was still P-Blaze at that point. Thank you, Phil Billy out there. I don't know if you remember that one. I remember this immediately, what we were talking about. Ninja had said that if people don't get mad when they lose, they're not real gamers. They're not trying hard enough. That they shouldn't even bother playing it if they're not getting angry. Which was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And like... I agree with Phil here. Like, it's one thing to get angry, it's another thing to look unprofessional and shitty. And that's one of the biggest problems that streamers do. I have no problems with people making money playing video games because it's not as easy as it sounds, especially when you're forcing yourself to play video games for extremely long periods of time. You're also opening yourself up to huge amounts of scrutiny from the public, which can be very cruel and evil. It is a psychologically draining job. And also, it is very hard to, while you can make a ton of money at it, and I understand people get very mad at like people like Ninja who just make billions of dollars playing video games, it is not something that is easy to maintain for extended periods of time. It's one of those things that at any point in time, your meal ticket could go away. You know what I mean? So it's not, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't have respect for people who make money streaming video games. What I don't have respect for is exactly what Phil Billy said. It's your job. Take it as such. Be professional. There is nothing wrong with being professional. There's nothing wrong with reacting and making a good show for people. You are an entertainer. But like throwing fits, temper tantrums, it demeans gaming. It demeans you as a profession. It is also, if I do say so myself, one of the biggest reasons other professions don't take yours seriously. You know?
Yeah. I've never been a fan of Ninja as a whole.
I forgot how much hate we gave Ninja in the first, I think the first, 60 episodes, every other episode, we had something terrible to say about Ninja.
Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned about, at any point in time, your meal ticket could go. Granted, I don't think he's doing bad, but you definitely don't hear about him.
Right.
As much anymore. He doesn't have brand deals all over the place. I mean, for shit's sake, Walmart was selling his merch at one point. That's how absolutely fucking wild people were going for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not heard hide nor hair of him in a long time, and honestly, I'm not displeased.
No, but I'm not either. Yeah. I think that maybe if he had handled himself a little bit more, I mean, honestly, if the guy is smart with money, and I don't know if he is, but if he's smart with money, he's got enough money to be retired. At this point. Yeah. He's got enough money to be retired 3 times over. But that's another thing. You could be top of the world in that industry and then out on your ass, you know? I don't even know if I call it an industry, more like a profession. But like, and that's one of the things that, like, I do respect about that is like, especially with the YouTube, same with the YouTubers. Like, if the YouTubers are like actually making money off their YouTube, at any point in time that can go away just because people decide not to watch you. You know, it's not like, and you can get fired in a job, but usually you can know it's coming. Sometimes there's a severance. Sometimes there's no cushion for stuff like this. And I think that like that is something I respect about it. On the other hand, treat it like a profession. That's the biggest problem with gaming is everybody wants us like everybody inside of gaming wants it to be treated like an art form. Me included. You know how we get treated like an art form? We act like it's art. And like streamers don't always do that. Game developers don't always do that. You know, you've got them treating it like a toy. You've got streamers treating it like a joke. And then that's why it doesn't get elevated, you know? Mm-hmm. Anything else to add to that? I think I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say, like, in general, even, like, whenever I'm playing any sort of game, or even, like, back in the day when I was really more so into it, I had a group of friends that we would play, like, Street Fighter or Halo on a regular basis online. And just, like, the getting angry whenever you die, or, like, the other team is using a dumb tactic or something, like, yeah, you grump about it a little bit, but it's like, okay, whatever. The game / match / round is going to be over in a very limited amount of time, then you just carry on to the next one. It's the get-gooders that drive me drive me up a wall.
It even goes into like stuff like you know, the Dark Sword people, or like even some of it's in Remnant 2. Like anybody who tells me like, oh, you're playing it wrong when you play it on the easy mode. No, you're not. Just play it so it's fun. Just however you play it that it's fun, that's how you play it. Like that's what they're meant to be. They're games. Like however you enjoy it. Like everybody should stop shaming people in any way, shape, or form for any of that. You know? All right. Episode 40. You are officially on the show at this point. Like as a co-host, your little icon has been added to the chair. And this episode is called Sim Podcast. And I think I remember this episode. I think this is the first episode that
Kayla was on. That
Kayla guest starred on, because if I recall correctly, there was a bunch of Sim 4 news, and we wanted to have her on to talk about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first comment is her saying, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. But I want to find something from somebody who wasn't on. Jesus Christ, Kevin. So many. So many things. I'm just gonna randomly pick one out. Let's do this one. All right. Kev Too Tall. Rest in peace, buddy. Super Metroid opens the credits with Metroid 3. The marketing box.
I remember
this. Super
this.
Metroid. We got in a huge fight.
Yes.
Huge fight about this. Huge fight. And then I said Neil will not be happy because we got in a battle on air, if I recall correctly, as whether Super Metroid was Metroid 3 or Super Metroid.
Because I was calling it, because I called it Metroid 3 a couple times.
And I was like, there is no Metroid 3. What the fuck are you talking about?
Just like Metroid Fusion is Metroid 4.
It's not. It's Super Metroid. I can't believe we're
You want to get super technical?
Years ago.
Now we can revisit it. Technically, Metroid Dread is Metroid 5.
Does it say Metroid 5?
That I can't remember, actually. It's been a hot minute.
It has been.
To go back
I was legitimately asking you. I don't remember if it says Metroid 5 or not. Super Metroid. That's what was on the box. It was Super Metroid. It was on the front. It was Super Metroid. It's Super Metroid, man. There's Metroid, Metroid 2, wherever that fucking was, and Super Metroid.
Metroid 2.
3 years, guys. We're still fighting about it. I definitely thought that this comment proved me right, though, because I commented Neil will not be happy. Oh, no, I said Neil will be happy.
Yeah.
I said Neil will be happy.
I was going to say.
I guess the opening credits do say Metroid 3. But, like, for me, like, I've never heard anyone refer to it as Metroid 3 other than you. Like, before that podcast, I had done plenty of video game talking in my life before the podcast. I had never heard anybody say Metroid 3 to refer to that game. I had only ever heard anybody say Super Metroid. Like, that's what it was. And you kept saying Metroid 3, and I was like, what the fuck is Metroid 3?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't know why I was calling it Metroid 3, like, casually, because, I mean, when you know, think of that, like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's Super Metroid. It like, that's the colloquial name. But it's, like, actually Metroid 3. In fact, I think I said the same exact phrase that I said just now when I was making my point.
All right, so then we're on 50, right? We're up to 50.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I went the wrong way. Hold on a sec. I'll find it again. All right, this is episode 50, Deep Nerd. That's what we called it. Another 11 comments. Oh, my God, they're all Kevin. Every one of these 11 are Kevin. All right, I'm going to just take the top one. Kevin, rest in peace, buddy. God, I forgot how much Kevin just, like, kept our show alive.
It was all the time. All the time.
All the time. He was... Kevin was such a great, like, not
boy,
to bring
how
this down.
disappointed. How disappointed would he be seeing us still doing the same bullshit?
I think he'd love it. He obviously loved it enough to constantly put comments in.
That's
Then he'd
true.
be like, thank God, these guys never change. They never sell out. I'm just sitting over here waiting for somebody to offer.
All right.
All right, first comment he says, if you compare Duke Nukem Forever to its predecessor, it's awesome. It was a blast to play, and I felt satisfied at the end. Compared to games it released against, yes, it was garbage, but I looked at it as a conclusion to Duke, not a current game. Okay, so I don't know what we were talking about specifically that brought this up. I do want to say this before we get into the meat of this comment. Kevin would do this all the time. I loved Kevin so much. He would always, like, every once in a while, like, argue with us for a shitty game. You remember that? Like, we would say, oh, this game's shitty, and then he'd be like, well, and then he'd say a bunch of stuff about it. He was always arguing for crappy games. Always. But Duke Nukem Forever, I never played Duke Nukem Forever. I was a Duke Nukem fan when I was younger, but I haven't played it for a while, since I think Time to Kill. What, did you ever play Duke Nukem Forever?
No. I honestly knew the name. All I really ever knew about it was, truthfully, I think what we talked about a little bit in what he's referring to. When the game came out, it basically came out at full price for a week and immediately plummeted to $40.
Yeah, but it came out before us, I thought. It came out before we even started doing the podcast, I thought. I think this came up because we were talking about Randy Pitchford, who is another of our most wanted, most hated on our channel. And we haven't
talked about him in a hot minute.
We haven't. We should make a list of most hated.
Should make a list.
Our most hated. Randy Pitchford, I remember he did say a comment at one point in an interview where he was basically like, somebody was like, what was your takeaways from the Duke Nukem Forever failure? And he basically said it wasn't a failure. He was like, sure, it didn't sell well, but, you know, people had been wanting that game for, you know, nigh on 10, 15 years. We managed to find a way to give it to them. I feel like we actually, we wrapped that up. It wasn't everybody's favorite. They obviously wanted more, but we were able to, wrap it up for everybody. And I remember
Randy gave it to us, all right.
Yeah, he did. Well, and I think that's a big problem. It's one of the earliest, like, purveyors of the overhype, right? Like, 10 years in development, you're in modern day gaming, people expect a bigger game out of them, and you deliver a game that's 2 generations old,
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, we now have 60. Where is 60?
I'll tell you what, if we're only at 60 already, we should probably just skip odds or news.
Oh, no, we got plenty of time. We're only 45 minutes in. This episode is called Zachariah is the Worst. So, and I named the episodes, guys, so I don't know what the fuck I said. But I did not say good. I am gonna pick. Let's pick Philbilly. Let's pick Philbilly, or P-Blaze, as he was called 2 years ago. Zach, I think I know the solution for you to feel sane with Sony and Microsoft. Join me on the dark side. With me, accept the fact that big companies are truly in it for the money alone, in the end, and learn to channel your anger and dislike toward people. Not all people, but the dumb ones. Laugh out loud. I mean, I
think you went. I think you changed teams.
Yeah, I don't think it's the dark side. Honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm the only. I'm a revolutionary unto myself. Yeah, I mean, the company's definitely got eviler and eviler and eviler, and it's just, again, you watch this show from start, and it's just the slow death of hope in a man. I am that man. Neil somehow stubbornly persists.
As one is wont to do, yes.
All right, we're up to 70, right?
Yes.
This episode was called A Lot of Suck. I just like going over the episode titles, right?
I feel like this may have been one of the ones that failed on a record.
I know one of them that definitely failed on a record.
I know one of them was something about a trash. The name was like a trash fire.
I've been waiting for this. Arsenic Steel. Remember that motherfucker?
Oh God, where is he anymore?
I don't know. I think he gave up on us. Arsenic Steel.
He grew up.
How the fuck does buying a $1,000 GPU every time that a new $1,000 release considered future-proof? You're just buying the new stuff at the same rate of availability. You haven't future-proofed anything. Oh my God. This is possibly one of the dumbest things Arsenic Steel has ever said, too. Like, I didn't buy a $1,000 GPU, number one.
Right.
Number two, once you buy, like, my entire computer was $1,500, bro. And when I need to update the most expensive thing, that now that the chip shortage is over, the most expensive thing that I'm going to need to buy is around $600. So, like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. I don't know.
Once you do that, you're good for another 6 to 8, possibly
6 to 8 years. Yeah. Especially if everything else is working on my computer. None of that shit really breaks down. Like, you're crazy. You're crazy, Arsenic Steel. That dude was nuts.
Yes, he was.
I was hoping one of them would show up.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just, like, aggressive for no reason.
He was so mad. Like, and I remember we would talk about it. We would be like, look, you're giving us the view. Like, if you don't like what we're saying, if you don't like the show, you cannot watch it. But
I was going to say,
to listen to nearly 2 hours, because especially in the beginning, me and Neil could not shut up. To listen to nearly 2 hours of us talking, to then bitch about us, like, just, could you imagine, like, in your car, just hate listening for 90 fucking minutes? God, what is your life like?
You know what? I want to actually give him props. You know why?
Yeah, why?
I get a read on him of, hey, these guys are onto something here in the early days, and he wanted to be our first professional troll. So he would just be that guy. So he just stuck in our craw, so to speak.
Well, we always responded to him.
Always responded.
I never failed to read it out.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any comments other than the spam ones that I have not read out. No matter how hateful they are towards me. Even the ones that like caused problems. Like, I have still read out. We have maintained that through 200 episodes.
That's true.
All right, so episode 80 is next, and that was Minor Pitches. I don't know what we were doing there.
Minor Pitches, I think, was just a pitch show.
Was it just a pitch show?
I think it was just a pitch show. That's typically
there are
our.
absolutely no votes on it, so I don't know if it was.
I feel like this one you should read the description for.
There was a vote from Philbilly, but that was it. I'm going to read this one from Philbilly.
Okay.
Must admit, it was quite jarring to hear my intro from Neil. I'll allow it, but just this one time. I don't think you've done it since. I don't remember it.
No.
But you must have
No,
done the Philbilly, he always does the same opening, and now I can't remember it. What did he say? It's,
Yo, what's up, old man fam?
Old man fam.
Billy.
That's right.
Billy 330 back again once again.
Yes, the back again once again. Oh man, ain't scared, never been scared. Yeah,
Scared, never been scared.
Phil, apparently you used it for an intro.
I have no recollection of this at all, and I'll tell you what, even thinking on the fact that I tried to steal somebody's something makes me feel so grimy.
Oh, we're all founders. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're all foundation. All right, so then we go to 90, right?
Yes.
The cake is angry. Oh God, the cake.
The
cake.
That is where the cake metaphor happened.
Yeah.
Like a whole hell of a lot. We were talking about the Mass Effect trilogy.
Okay.
Mass Effect trilogy, and how long do you actually have to do anything with it when the games are basically finished anyways?
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this guy because I don't think he's ever commented again. Carl makes videos. First time listener. What I'm really excited for.
Last time listener.
First time listener. What I'm really excited for in gaming right now is Neo, The World Ends With You. With regards to Old Man's story about gift cards for gift cards to get Steam credit, what's stopping you from just using PayPal or a debit card to pay money directly, rather than using this reach-around method?
I remember you used to do some weirdness with getting your games. Yeah.
Shopkits. So I was a bargain shopper. I would do trade-ins, but there was also Shopkicks is this app. You can go download it out there, and basically what it is you go to stores and you scan barcodes for them. They give you points, and then once you get a certain amount of points, they give you gift cards digitally through the app that 100% work. So what I would do is, like, once a week, I would carve out like an hour. I would go to Walmart and I just scan every barcode in Walmart. Not every barcode in Walmart, but you have to find, it's like a scavenger hunt. You have to find the objects they want you to scan. And I would just scan all the objects they wanted. And basically once a month, I would have enough for like a $5 gift card at GameStop. And then I would get it. And like, I didn't explain that properly on the show. I ended up doing a comment to that guy to explain it. That's why I was so upset with the Epic Store, because I can't, they still don't. They have no gift card whatsoever to buy money on them. The only way to buy money on Epic Store is to directly buy money on Epic Store with a credit card. And like, my whole thing was, how are you ever going to be a challenger to Steam if you can't make it so that people can get you as a gift? Like, the only thing they had is Fortnite money. They have Fortnite gift cards, but that's it. They didn't have any Epic Store gift cards. So, like, if a grandma wants to buy a gift card for a kid, they can't go and just get a gift card. You know what I mean? So, like, that's
how few fucks Epic gives about the entire competition with Steam. They're not even going to try to make a way for people to get gift cards to buy shit.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So that was... the cake is angry. So we're at episode 100. Woohoo! Woo! This is fun, though. I'm actually having more fun than I thought I was going to have.
Yeah.
All right, so episode 100 was 100. And this is a very special episode.
Yes, I remember this one.
Because we actually had... This is the one and only show That's not true. Kevin did do a couple of like Horrible Game. I think he presented once at the Horrible Game Awards. But for the most part, this is one of the only shows that Kevin was on before his untimely demise. And he actually came on as one of our biggest fans and interviewed you, me, and Philbilly, which was really cool. I
very much enjoyed that format.
Yeah. So I am going to go ahead and read this out because it's the first time he showed up in the comments. That is William Houen. And this is crazy. He doesn't do the high exclamation point on this post. That's why I'm picking it 100%. There's no high exclamation point to start it. All he says is, wow, congrats on the 100th episode. That's quite a milestone. Been listening to you quite quietly since I found your channel like 2 years ago. Stumbled on it because of the Fallout 76 review. Thanks for keeping me company while I'm working, and I look forward to the 1000th episode special. Good God, I will be so fucking old. No way I'm living that long. Well, I'll be dead. But I think this was the first time he ever commented, too. This is the first William Houen comment.
This sounds correct. Yeah, that was... I think it is the very first time
we've ever heard from him.
Yeah, and he's been here like ever since.
I'm just gonna go on a small rant. This episode might go long, everybody, but it's our 200, whatever. One of the things, like the biggest thing that I've enjoyed about running and having this channel, as long as I have, is I have made these friendships through here. I have rekindled friendships. Like this channel has led me to just, I don't know, I haven't made money off of it. I'm never going to make money off of it. None of us, well, that's not true. I made $10 off of it, but I'm probably never going to make money off of it again. But there's just something, like, I've met so many people. William Houen, who lives in Canada. He's French-Canadian. He's a really cool dude. He now has his own channel. Danny Wharton from Britain. She's really cool. Terry Shakespeare, also in Britain. Really cool person. Jason, Kevin, like, Filthy Phil. And Filthy Phil is one of Phil's better friends now. He met him through the channel. Like, this channel has had such a weird, like, binding. And our community is not large by any stretch of the imagination, but it is really tight, and it's really cool people, and they're all just, like, really different walks of life kind of coming together. And I think that is one of the coolest things about this channel is, like, I have made friendships here that will probably last the rest of my life that I just wouldn't have made if I didn't decide to do shitty reviews on the internet one day. And I think that's just so cool. That's just so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's one of the strengths of this whole, I mean, I would just call it a thing at this point because it's changed identity so much from where it started. Because now, like, before it was, you know, play along with the podcast. And then it was like, okay, well, they're streaming. And then, oh, by the way, Zach made an entire ass game, like a tabletop game, and is making games. And all of that associated. And, oh, you've branched out now, you know, Respite. And you have your brother that does music. Like, it's like, I feel like it's a disservice at this point to, well, this is a gaming podcast. I don't necessarily think it's a gaming channel anymore.
No, it's so far removed from, like, it's so much more like a channel for friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not, it's also a channel that is not corporately run, which is very important to me at this stage in our development. Like, we don't take any money from Ubisoft, from YouTube or any sponsor whatsoever.
We don't take money from Ubisoft either. They really don't have the spare at this point.
No, they don't. we couldn't get money from sponsors or not, but it's an honest place where people can come and share their feelings. And, like, I feel like the other day, one of my friends told me he picked up Remnant 2 specifically because of my review. And that just, like, to me, that's like, so you trust me enough with your fucking $50. You know what I mean? To buy that game. Like, that's really cool feeling. Like, and our channel does that. And I like that. We have an honest opinion. It's not always a good one, but it's honest, which is something. All right, so episode 110, Nintendo Heavy. Let's see.
I wonder if that's when they had one of their directs.
Definitely one of their directs, because this is the one where they announced ActRaiser, like an ActRaiser sequel or remake or something. And we're going to pick that one right here. Jason, this is the first guy. Jason had already been commenting for a little bit too, but Jason, ActRaiser was awesome back in the day. The second one sucked because they ripped away what made ActRaiser cool. A game I'd like to see a remake, sequel, or spiritual successor for is Soul Blazer. Which, cool. I think I asked them about it, and it was really cool. It was like a game where, like, you had to manage, like, people, but you also did, like, platforming, like you were a god, like, half the time. It was like a world-building thing, and then the other half the time you had to do, like, platforming, which is a really cool idea. All right, moving on. Not much more to say about that one. It's getting so much harder to find them now because they don't show the number anymore. So we're on 120, right?
Yes.
120. The longest one yet.
How long was that one?
An hour and 54 minutes. We have definitely broken that by now.
Yeah, I think we may have.
Yeah, we talked for a long time on that. I don't know what. Oh, I gotta read this because this is the first time he commented. Actually, no, I'm gonna read Danny because she didn't comment often on us, and she says, "Less than 20 seconds in, and we're talking about porn. This is gonna be good." God, I wish I knew what we were talking about. I really wish I knew what we were talking about in that episode for it to be. Like, when did we talk about porn?
I can't even remember.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, moving on. So we would be at 130, right? Mm-hmm. 130. It gets harder because, like, it cuts off the number after the first number, so I was able to easily find, like, the teens, but the minute it got to, like, 100s, because you could just go 1 and then 2 and then 3, but the minute it got to 100s, everything's 1. So, like, I gotta find the 30. It's a little bit frustrating. 30. Boom. We're gonna do a quick one here on Asylum 66. My buddy. This is another dude. It literally rekindled. We hadn't talked in over 15 years, I think. Before he started listening and commenting on this. And now I hang out with him and play video games with him on a regular basis. Square's hate got Guardians on Game Pass. Looks like we win. I have no fucking idea what that means.
I think it has something, obviously something to do with the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy made its way to Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think it's because that game, like, it was a very mild response, and this was, like, when the Avengers game was really getting shit on and everything. Yeah,
I remember that. The Avengers game had kind of, like, flopped hard. And Guardians came out right after, but it was still Square Enix, and it looked in the previews kind of like the Avengers. Everyone was like, here we go again. And then Guardians flopped hard, even though it was a really good narrative-driven story, from what I understand. All right, so we would be on 130 now, right?
I think we were just on 130.
Oh, that episode was called Decked, whatever that means. I didn't read out the names on that one. 35... 140. Just so you know, 139 was called Skull and Bones.
Oh, geez. Nearly 60 episodes later and still Skull and Bones.
Interesting fun fact. Episode 135 is the episode we started putting our faces in it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Just
I feel like
passed.
it was like sooner or more recent.
Yeah, I know. 135. We've been doing it for 65 episodes.
Huh.
So this episode is 140, Embraced. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to read Terry Shakespeare, because he very rarely commented on the podcast. Terry Shakespeare. I can't remember the studio that bought Eidos, but it's got me very excited. New Tomb Raider, new Deus Ex, and Legacy of Kain games on the way. Can't fucking wait. Hopefully they're good. Bad news.
Bad news, champ.
Very bad news. Tomb Raider, we haven't seen one since Shadow. Deus Ex is done, from what I understand, shelved after the last one. Never came back. And then Legacy of Kain, we still haven't seen any Legacy of Kain or Soul Reaver games.
Nope.
So that's a downer. We're just gonna move right on.
Let's move right along.
It's
like passing a car wreck on the highway.
Okay, so we're at 150, which means I need to switch pages. 150. Pizza Bet Trilogy.
Man.
The Pizza Bet. Love the Pizza Bet. For anybody who has just for some reason decided to listen to episode 200, number one, sorry. Number two, the Pizza Bet is anytime me and Neil are sure about something, we will bet each other a pizza. And we're all full up on the pizzas, right? Like, we're even?
Yeah.
I don't think we're even on score. I mean, all the pizzas.
No, I don't think there. I think there may have been one that's still unresolved, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, I know I'm down a pizza. I know that.
I will tell you, fun fact, you know how I know what your address is? I have it saved in my Domino's app.
Because of the Pizza Bet. It's great. Yeah. It's great. All right, so let's find a comment that is fun.
I still just so... That was orchestrated so well. That first pizza... Mm-hmm. The first pizza bet.
Yeah, you did really well.
I scared the fucking shit.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is here? Yeah, it was crazy. That it happened on camera. You did it.
Yes.
We used to record in the morning, guys. We used to record it like Monday morning. And Neil sent it to me for lunch. It was great. My kid was very happy because she was still home. It was like summer and she was home. All right. Let me see. Let's find a good one. Let's go. That one's got a lot of comments on it.
I remember the second pizza bet was when we did the River City Girls, and we did the stream, and the first 10 minutes of the stream was just us eating fucking pizza.
Was it River City Girls or was it Streets of Rage? I think it was Streets of Retro.
No, I'm pretty sure it's River City Girls, because that was the only time I ever played that game.
We did stream it. I forgot about that. Game's great. All right, so William Ho-Wooen. Hi, so I don't understand what's happening with my comments. I commented on last week's episode, and it doesn't show up on your comment section. First time I thought I forgot to click send button, but last time I'm sure I did. It's annoying. Anyway, thumbs are not that useful anyway to play games. Oh, wait. I don't know what we were talking about there.
I know what we were talking about. I cut the tip of my thumb off making
that's
sauce.
right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Vampire sauce. That makes more sense with some of these comments. Can confirm about not understanding how shit works anymore at 38. I would even lower the bar to 37. Loved Zach's laugh when Neil said God of War would release in 2022. I'm with Zach. It won't. Thanks for the show. I think that's the one I lost the pizza bet on.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, you got me. I was positive that wasn't coming out in 2022.
I know you were. I know you were positive.
I'm surprised it did, but it did, and it was good. Well, it was good for other people.
It's an excellent game. I loved it.
Okay, all right. All right. So what was that? Was that 150? That was 150, right?
I believe so, yes.
Oh my god. This is going to be such a long episode. Reminiscing, basically. 160. Is anyone still listening? And our comments. We're going to... Ooh. Bloody Nose. This is his first comment is entering this game, anyway. People are so fast to jump to conclusions. SMH. Like, obviously, the game is still being worked in. And that, we're definitely talking about, like, post-cyberpunk world at this point. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what game we were talking about at
Grand
the time.
Theft Auto 6.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That's when all that came out, and people actually thought that the wireframes and everything were, like, the game. It was just, like, very early in development stuff that got leaked.
I see. I gotcha. Okay, so that would bring us to 170 or 160? Yeah, 170. What award show? Shit. Screwed up. Guys, bear with me. I suck at podcasting. You should have learned that by now.
I was going to say...
What award show? We're definitely talking about the Game Awards on this. I know we are.
It's that old fine. When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Oh, man. So the only real comment that's big is William Hole and high exclamation point. Nice nails. Dad's duty indeed. Laugh out loud. I definitely had painted nails. Amazing year for indies indeed. Not to remove anything from the devs, but I feel the tools to make games are becoming more and more accessible, and it's giving great creative-minded people to be able to create amazing games with less resources. I love indie games so much. Blue Protocol tickets are like pay not to play. This is so effing dumb. I remember that. I'll say I liked my 2022 year of gaming. I've played a bunch of great games, not necessarily from 2022 though. One thing I'll say, I feel the year went by so fast, and not only gaming-wise, but in general. I came to the conclusion that the older you get, the faster time goes by. Does that make sense? It actually does. Time dilation gets wonky the older you get. Thanks for the show and for all of the entertainment this year. I really wish you the best holidays. Hope you'll stop being sick.
No.
Funny enough, I'm sick for the entire next year. Still going. Or won't get sick if you're not already. And keep on gaming. Cheers.
Keeps
Hashtag
getting better.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, he still can't fucking talk. The older you get, time dilation gets weirder, and time feels quicker to you because you've lived longer. Like when you're a kid, it's all relative to the amount of time you've lived. At least that's the theory.
That makes sense.
The Blue Protocol tickets where you could buy tickets to level up your character so you didn't have to play the game, but it's an MMO, so like the only thing about the game is leveling up your character, so why the fuck would you do that sort of thing?
Yeah.
I remember that very much. And actually 2023 has been a good year for me too. It hasn't come from AAA games, that's for sure. With the exception of maybe Hogwarts, all my stuff has come from AA or single A studios, and they've been phenomenal. So 180. Where are you, 180? 180 was State of Meh. This is definitely a state of play.
State of play, yeah.
Instead of the shitty state of play.
I don't even think they really...
I'm going to read this one. Bloody Nose. With the whole VR thing, to me, at least for PlayStation, how the hell does the VR2 cost more / equal to the damn console required to play it? Kind of backwards, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just backwards, Bloody. It's stupid. Because very few people want that technology from PlayStation. So it has not worked in their progress. And then finally, the most horrible 190. And this was pretty recent. It's only 10 weeks ago. I'm going to read this one from Jason. I really want to like Redfall. I am mostly having fun. But it seems like they had a good game going, and then they lost their dev team and had to bring in noob devs to finish it. Twice now I've completed a mission, only to not have it actually complete. I had to quit to main menu and go back in and complete the mission again. Vampires occasionally load in as a phantom. They ignore me and take no damage, but still go about their business otherwise. The AI is very, very bizarre. Usually the enemies are dumb as rocks, then occasionally a group will be tactical geniuses. Buttons stop working every now and then, mostly the B and the 3 lines button I noticed. I have to quit the entire game and reload it. Vampires outside the nest are super easy. The ones in the nest are so numerous, I die 50 times in the nest. Not our experience with the nest. None of the vampires were moving, but the nest crashed our game. You can check that out on our show. Most of the technical issues, other than that, seem to be PC issues, and I played on xCloud and Series X. The game needed another I don't know how long to finish it. Yeah. I gotta say, too, Remnant 2 just came out. You guys can check out my review. You can see how much I like it. It is 100% my game of the year and the best looter shooter that has ever been created. That being said, man, that coming out like right after Redfall, like you compare the two looter shooters, like those are the two looter shooters that have come out. And it's like, it's not even it's so like, look at everything's right in Remnant 2, and you can just play Redfall and be like, oh, this is everything's wrong. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Everything's always wrong, but it's always so wonderful.
Well, that's it. That's our trip down memory lane for our 200th episode. Nice and long, like we like it. Now that we've definitely overstayed our welcome, we're going to take a break and go to the news. Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the news. That's where we take the news headlines from the past week that we...
In this case, 2? 3?
That we specifically want to talk about, tell you guys about, let you know what's going on, and give our own opinions about them. I only have 2. Neil has 5, so I'm just going to get mine out of the way. And the first one is the one I want to talk about the most. This actually comes to us from Philbilly. Who has been... Anybody who knows this channel knows that Philbilly is very into Baldur's Gate 3. He's very excited about it. Larian Studios. Some crazy Twitter shit happened recently where this kind of developer guy made this like 7 tweet about basically... I'm going to summarize it because it was very long. How Larian's game is great. We should all be happy about it, but we shouldn't take it as the new norm or the benchmark for role-playing games going forward because Larian is in the right position and got lucky and all this stuff. It's not quite as malicious as I'm making it sound, but it's definitely not. It's definitely defacing, which it shouldn't be, but it points out that it's kind of an anomaly. And then here's the kicker. All the studios came out, the big AAA studios, and said, "Oh yeah, definitely, this is an anomaly. This is not the benchmark. This should never. No game this good should ever come out." Okay, this is bullshit. I want to say
Never
this
can happen. Physical impossibility.
What bothers me the most about this is the first person to jump on this bandwagon is one of our all-time favorite developers here on this channel. They are the 2-time Developer of the Year winner on the Horrible Game Awards. Obsidian was the first people to jump on this. Shame on you, Obsidian. Shame on you. You make good games. You have no right to say this stuff. And as far as the benchmark goes, there is no reason that a AA studio creating a game that's good shouldn't raise the bar for AAA games. This is literally like a AA game studio making a really good game, and AAA game studios going, don't expect us to do that. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You guys are supposed to create the biggest and best games. That's why you're AAA. So for you to go on Twitter and literally say, don't expect that, is ridiculous. That this is an anomaly. What else? It also makes you look like shit, man. Like, how do you not see that? How do you not see that? The other thing that was pointed out in this tweet is that Larian had all this backing of like the right developer, and they have this big studio behind them, even though they're independent. The problem is with all of that is that Larian actually started out as a 25-person team. They got rejected for Baldur's Gate. They had to fight to get the license in the first place. And the only reason they expanded is because they did get the license, and they were able to expand to create a good game in this game. Now, here's the thing. This is like a thing across the board. AA games getting shit on for like AA games are creating better games than the AAA game studios right now, hands down, without a doubt. You look at Remnant 2's success recently. I mean, whether or not that's a game that anybody's going to play other than me, it is very successful, and it is a very good game, high-rated game. I believe Baldur's Gate will be the role-playing game version of that. Like, I think a lot of the big-name games, the games that you're really excited about this year, are all AA studios. They're not necessarily AAA studios. And I think that, like, AAA coming out, like, I think it's bullshit that they said it was an anomaly, because that's insulting. But I think it actually is more insulting to the AAA studios, honestly. Like, you're literally saying you can't accomplish that with twice the funds, twice the resources, twice the people. Why? Why? At that point, you're not a AAA studio, and you have no right to say that. Like, if another game comes out that's great, what you should be saying is, that game's great, we're going to try and do that. I don't know if we can, but we're going to try and do that. It certainly shouldn't be, don't expect it naysaying bullshit.
Yeah, so AAA is like this weird, like everybody wants to be AAA or like regarded in the same way, but like I don't think anybody really even has a good, like has like a finger on the pulse of what that necessarily means overall anymore, because it's such a shifting benchmark.
Well, and I think a lot of the AA studios don't even want to be considered as AAA because it's getting a bad name at this point.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because the very first studio that I think of is, what was it, Ninja Theory, the ones who were doing Senua's Sacrifice. Mm-hmm. For the first one, when that came out, it was very much this is like a AA game. Like, right. It's like a third-party support studio who's like, we're going to do our own thing. And it came out pretty good. Yeah. You remember when the sequel was announced?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And how long it has been, and how, frankly, kind of little we really super seen of the game, and what we have seen has been very much, there's no absolute fucking way that's the game itself.
Well, that's Xbox. And that's my problem, is Xbox takes franchises that are already established and good, they take AA studios, and then they corrupt them, basically, and make them put out shitty games. Like, you played Senua's Sacrifice, I assume?
No.
You didn't play the first one?
Mm-mm. No, It was on my list, but I'm like never going to get to it at this point.
I'm going to speak as the expert then, because I actually played it through. That game should have never had a sequel. It was a perfect product. It was a perfect narrative-driven product that spoke to a group of people that did not have a voice prior to that. Because the developers brought in people who were straight up like because the main character is schizophrenic.
Yes.
So they brought in people who were schizophrenic and asked them what it was like, and then tailored a game experience so that people who didn't have schizophrenia could experience that. That is something, like, they did something true art. You know what I mean? Like, truly, like, this is what gaming can do. You can actually experience something and then possibly gain more empathy for it. You know what I mean? Why the fuck are you turning that into some giant open world bullshit? Like, that game should never have a sequel. It is what it is. It's a beautiful piece of art. Leave it the fuck alone. And that's Microsoft to a T, man. Everything they've touched they've poisoned.
Yeah.
And it's taken a few years to see that. But, like, every game that has come out after Microsoft has bought it has been shittier than the one prior, you know? But yeah, sorry, got off topic there. The AAA, like, I think a lot of the AA studios don't even want to be thought of as AAA. I think Larian probably could be considered a AAA at this time. But good God, why would they want to be called that?
Right.
When the AAA studios, like Obsidian, one of the most trusted and best studios out there, in my opinion, is fucking dogging you for doing too good. Like, are you kidding? Like, is AAA that club where you're like, well, now we got to make shitty games? Like,
right.
I don't know. Like, even Remnant 2, which I'm going to be talking around for a while, guys. It's in me. But Gunfire Games, they published through Gearbox. They had plenty of money. They don't want to be considered AAA, and I understand it. They're, like, I don't know. All right, I'm going to move on because we're spending too much time on it. But that came from Phil. I echo his concerns on this. And personally, I'm not going to lie. I'm no longer seeking out AAA games. None of the AAA games that are really presented to me are even interesting. They all look like cash-grabby bullshit microtransaction fests, you know? And, like, like, the things that really interest me right now, the things that are really getting my blood turning, are all independent games. Those are the ones that are on my Steam wish list, you know? Phoenix Rising 2 has been canceled. If you were a Mortals Phoenix Rising fan.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing a sequel.
They had announced one, but it has been quietly canceled amid all of the Ubisoft.
Wait a second. Ubisoft knows how to cancel a project?
I know. That's why I put it on the list. Because I don't think anybody thought that they were going to make a second one to that, honestly. I thought that was a really good game. Like, surprisingly good. I wish Ubisoft had made more because they, God help me, they need more things that are not Tom Clancy and Assassin's Creed. But no, in their bid to basically only make franchise games, they have quietly, they want to make more Assassin's Creed, so they got to get out of here the new IP. God, it's a fresh idea. Get that the fuck out of here. We got to do another fucking Assassin versus Templar thing. So that's been quietly canceled, which I think is really interesting because Ubisoft, to my knowledge, has never fucking canceled a game.
Yeah.
They're still saying we're going to get that fucking Prince of Persia remake.
I'm sure we will.
Okay.
All right, so mine are going to be kind of old to some degree, but no less interesting, I feel. One of them that I wanted to address here, it was kind of old news, but I don't know. I cannot recall if you guys talked about it on the episode that Phil helped out with. Major Nelson leaving Xbox.
We did not.
You did not?
That actually happened right after.
Oh, it did? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of sad because, like, when I got my 360, he was just like this figurehead who was just like, hey, guys, you know, I'm the corporate gamer bro, but, like, I'm also just like you. But it wasn't in, like, that nasty, skeezy way that it is now. Can
I say something I liked about Major Nelson?
What?
That was Major Nelson, and I don't like Microsoft, but I never felt like Major Nelson really tried to lie to us. Not even just about, like, his games or his show, but, like, him. Like, he showed up looking like a corporate dude. He never showed up in, like, a casual jacket, like, hey, guys, let's go get a fucking phosphate at the sock hop. Yeah, like, he never did that shit. He looked like a corporate guy that was excited to tell you about video games. And I always enjoyed that about him. I liked that Major Nelson, and I don't know, maybe he was a shithead, who knows, but, like, he always presented as just a dude who was trying to bring you information about games. And, like, I will say this, on the level of degradation, like, things being degraded in Microsoft, Major Nelson going is another degradation as far as I'm concerned. Like, like that's another point against, in my opinion. And, like, hey, he's retiring, more power to him. You know, go sit on a sandy beach, bro. But, like, That's another thing that I liked about Xbox that's gone.
Yeah. So the next one that I have here is actually two things combined.
Okay.
And it's some interesting information that came out about Forbidden West. It's two separate points. They're both infuriating, truthfully. So Horizon Forbidden West almost cut the underwater and aerial exploration from the game because they couldn't get it onto the PS4 at first. It's almost as if it should have been on a console that was, a bit newer, that could handle such things exclusively. You fucking shitheads. Straight up and down. This whole trying to, appeal to the least common denominator, I think it's finally, we're finally beyond that at this point. At least I would like to hope so. But, yeah, the fact that they were even trying to do that in the beginning is just stop it. No. You're compromising... I know this is what games now, but you're compromising your entire vision and what you want to do with a game just so you can get a few more dollars out of some people. I mean, in perspective, but
and anybody who thought when what's his face came on and said all of our games are going to be exclusive on PS5 because they have to be, they're lying. They were lying. It's confirmed now because there's no way that they almost cut that and they were still working on that before they were making those announcements. So they knew that it had to run on PlayStation 4, even though that was supposed to be an exclusive to PlayStation 5 at first. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, oh, we can't sell it. It's got to be on 4. But, that means that it was never that way. All the games that they were only going to put on PlayStation 5, except for Ratchet & Clank, never leveraged the technology. They just wanted to sell that system. And that's that,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you on the compromising the vision thing at all. But at the same time, I want to hammer home that they were lying in the first place, that, that console was doing anything that the other console really couldn't do, was playing games that the other console couldn't. You know what I mean?
Right. And continuing on to more shitty Horizon stuff.
Sure.
Apparently, in that same interview, Guerrilla has said that they're working on 16 more different projects within the Horizon universe.
Oh, God.
This is a combination of books, movies, TV shows, more games, spin-off games. Stuff that we know about, stuff that we don't know about. Fucking stop it.
Why do we do this?
Fucking stop it. Straight up and down. This is exactly what I was worried they were going to do. They had a great idea with the first game. It was great. Love the game. Absolutely amazing. They kind of dropped the ball with the second game on the story, but overall it's more of a good thing.
Great,
I'm okay with that. And now they just want to cram it down our throats. They're doing exactly like they did with Killzone. There's a reason they stopped making Killzone.
I mean, it's franchise fatigue. That's another thing that I hate about a lot of AAA developers is it's all about franchise. You look at Ubisoft. They just canceled a game that was an original title to help make 12 more Assassin's Creed games and 4 more Tom Clancy games. We can't take this much franchise. Stop. I get it. You don't want to bet on the new thing, but eventually the thing that you're forcing down our throats is going to give you less returns. Why ruin it? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. And it's also not hard to tell when people are sick of things, or that they're getting sick of things. It's very easy to be okay, we've done enough of this right now. Let's do something else.
Well, there's only one surefire way to know that somebody's sick of something, and they stop buying it.
I mean, that is the unfortunate truth, and nobody stops buying things. Is the problem. People just keep buying shit.
So 2 more here. First one, did you see that they announced that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2?
Oh, God. Why? The first one was so bad, and nobody liked it. I don't understand how this came about.
So one bit of credit I will give. They've made a big to-do about the upgrades over the visuals and the gameplay from the previous game.
They also said that there's going to be full voice acting, which everybody complained about in the first one as well, and an actual campaign mode.
Yes.
Is in there. Yeah.
And apparently it's coming out October 24th via leaks. So we'll see.
I guess. I think this is insane. Like, the idea that you have all of these games getting sequels off games, you know what I mean? That people, like, I'm so tired, Neil. Just go ahead, do the next one.
So it's the last one is actually kind of anecdotal to some degree, but have you watched Twisted Metal?
I've seen the entire series.
Okay. All right.
It's amazing.
We just finished episode 3.
Give it time, man. You got to get to the end. You got to get all the way to the end.
So I have to say that first episode, I was like, oh my God, stop. Like the writing was so bad in that first episode. I almost feel like it was like a pilot that happened first and then the rest of the series got greenlit. But then as time had gone on, the writing in it's very much presented to be a joke. It's presented to be that camp.
It was written by the guy who did Deadpool.
That I did not know.
Yeah, so once you know that...
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's written by the Deadpool guys. Here's the thing. I was a Twisted Metal guy. Asylum, if you listen to this. Asylum, myself, Grandpa Gamer, if anybody watches OMGM, and then a bunch of other people. My brother, Mike Hoffman, if he listens, I don't think he listens to this. A bunch of other people. We would play Twisted Metal constantly. So I was a little bit nervous about the show, but I definitely wanted to try it. I actually liked the first episode. I didn't hate it as much as you did. I liked the campiness. I liked the nostalgia. I kind of felt like they were trying to make it like a campy 90s movie. And that kind of spoke to me. The thing that I didn't like all comes together by the end. Like it all comes together by the end. Makes me very happy. Like there was only 2 things that I didn't really love about the series. Like I was really invested. I also love that they're half-hour episodes, so it never overstays its welcome. That's the thing. Like you're watching it, even if you don't like something, it's over, and then you're on to the next crazy ass thing, and then you can move through it. I thought it did a really good job of setting up the world. And, the 2 things that I didn't like, the thing that really is a bummer is the writer's strike is going to kill that fucking thing. I don't know how that's going to get a second season with the writer's strike going on, and it desperately needs a second season. But
So, as somebody who did not play Twisted Metal...
well, that's part of the problem right there.
I guess so, yeah. The episode names, are those like the license plates on the cars?
I believe so.
Okay. I had asked Kayla, because she played back in the day, and she was like, it's been so long, I wouldn't even know. But yeah, Twisted Metal was one of I may have played, I feel like I played maybe 20 minutes of Twisted Metal once, long ago. It's a weird blind spot. But overall I have been enjoying the show once I got on its wavelength.
Yeah, you kind of have to dumb yourself down for it. It's a stupid 90s action show that goes hard. Like, that's what you've got to look at it as, because it comes at you right away with the campiness. And then, and it's jarring if you're not ready for it. And the minute it started for me, I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. This is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Like, I'm all right with that. I'm down. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it start to finish. And I gotta say, Stephanie Beatrix, she plays Quiet in it. Mm-hmm. She was also the voice of Encanto in the movie, if you don't know that.
Oh.
And not Encanto, she was the main character, the girl with the glasses, Mary
Oh,
Beth,
okay.
I think. And she
Merida,
was also Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Her acting in this show is 5 bars above what the show deserves. And I like the show. I like all the characters in it. Like, she has moments in that show where you're like, what are you fucking doing here? like she has moments where she's like thinking about her brother and all sorts of other shit, and it's just like she is really good at like showing emotion on her face. And like, for me, like, I couldn't wait till she was on screen again just because of how good she was acting. Like, it just elevated everything. But yeah, I mean, I say get through it, man. Get through the first season.
Oh, yeah.
They're easy chunks, and they're fun. They're really fun. They're very gory, but fun. And then it kind of ties it together. Kind of ties it all together, which made me very happy.
Solid.
Is that all of yours, my friend?
That's it.
All right. We will go to plugs, and then we will be done. Finally.
I would like sleep times.
Trying to set the new longest, I guess.
Yeah.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that finally brings us to the end of the show. And the 200th shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, anything you want to plug?
I mean, the only real thing outside of this plug is one thing that we had kind of already talked about vaguely anyways around 170, and that is us playing Redfall Down. We're back on that again. That just glorious thing. I can't even call it a game.
It's a nightmare.
Due
to scheduling, we are going to miss another week, just so that everybody knows.
We are?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this week. I was going to talk to you off camera about it.
Oh, okay.
But there was a whole thing that happened, and I had to reschedule a thing, so we can't record this week like we normally could.
That's fine.
But so we'll probably miss another week and then have 3 on. But yeah. But still, definitely keep watching. We're up to episode 9, I think. I think 9?
That sounds correct.
6 or 9, somewhere in there. As far as plugs for me, we're doing TTRPG stuff and gaming stuff, the TTRPG stuff. You can see every other Wednesday we do an actual play of a game coming out at some point in the future from my company. And then another game that I demo by myself where basically I just tell you a story about a wrestling league. That's every Monday at 1 to 3. And then the other one is an actual play with Philbilly, Wizard, and Aether Dios, and that's every other Wednesday from 9:30 till roughly about 11:30. And feel free to watch them on the back end. Once a month, we're also doing TMNT, The Under Strangeness. We've got the Stump Gang going. I'm running Truck and Turtles. That's been a lot of fun. You guys really loved that. Got 40 views, so we're going to keep doing that once a month. That's a lot of fun. On the video game side, Prelude to Divorce, we are doing Oregon Trail again, and it is fun because Melissa's into it, and anytime she's into it, it's funny. So please check that out. Of course, check out Redfall Down. We already talked about that. That's Saturdays when they're going up. Prelude is Sundays. Thursdays, OMGM. We're getting close to our Season 2 finale, which is very exciting. Jeremy is beating me. I'm not excited about it, so if you like to watch me upset and you don't get enough from this, you can go watch that. This podcast, of course, comes out on Wednesday on YouTube and all places audio-wise on Tuesdays. That's it, guys. I'm thinking about doing a Remnant Let's Play, but other than that, that's it. Go watch those things and tell me what you think about them. You can contact us on Facebook at OhMyGamingDH, on Twitter at OhMyGame9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. See you guys next week. Pause.
I keep staring at the 3D printer because I'm wondering if it's actually doing what it's supposed to do.
I can hear it kind of buzzing in the background.
Oh, you can?
Just barely. It's not enough. It's not perceptible enough for other people.
Yeah, it's doing what it needs to do here. I'm trying to run out the filament that I currently have
What are
on.
you trying to
but
make?
I was So what I've been making lately is I primarily got for D&D, so I could make a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
I've decided to do potion tokens now.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, instead of having it just be a tally on a character sheet, like, here's your potions.
That's
You
cool.
want to use a potion? Give it to me. Like, so, yeah, this is going to be number 3, I think. So
they're
we'll
coming
see
out
how
nice?
it turns. Yeah, so far they've been coming out nice.
I was hoping for a lot more shittiness. No offense to you, but just for content wise.
Oh, don't worry, because now that I have a loose grip on how to do 3D printing, I'm looking in advanced shit, because that's how my brain works. So I'm sure soon there's going to be like there's like components that you can change out, like that will like can speed up prints or like
Nice.
update the quality of stuff and everything. And now like I've started ordering different colored filaments, so I have one that's supposed to look like marble when you print stuff, so I can do like terrain and stuff for D&D. So yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm sure there's gonna be more.
That's awesome.
There's a little potion bottle.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Now I gotta paint the little fuckers.
Potion tokens galore.